Deliberate and act on Resolution 2015-35, the August 2015 financial report. McLennan, thank you.
Mayor and Commission, Mayor Pro Tem and Commission, in your packet this evening is the August financial report and a resolution approving those reports. As Commissioner Chavez stated, we did not have a quorum last week for our Financial Advisory Committee, but I have forwarded all of the information and the reports that we'll go over tonight to our committee. We'll meet again next October 15th, I believe. In your packet, in our general fund financial summary, you'll see that our ending cash balance as of August 31st was $1,445,659.80, less our required 1/12th reserve and the funds that we have remaining for the street improvement GRT leaves you with available cash of $972,317. That's really good for this time of year. Normally, we would start to see kind of that drain on our cash reserves starting this month into November, December, until we get property tax. So that puts us in a really good position financially, so we won't see as severe of a dip in our cash reserve as we have in years past. However, we will still hold off on any large purchases if needed until after the first of the year. You'll see our gross receipts received in the month of September. This would reflect the July business activity. We had an extremely busy month just in talking to the various local businesses. So you'll see that per budget, we were up 7.3129%. So we have a lot of projects ongoing and starting this month and probably will carry on through November, late December. So that will help our GRT as well. You will see, let's see, on our financial report, and I've made a note here for you that I've kind of revised the format of the report so that it mirrors the DFA quarterly report a little bit better. We do report to DFA on a cash basis, so now that we're issuing our purchase orders through the new module, it creates kind of a accrual every month. And so you'll see this adjustment column, which adjusts it back to a cash basis. And so that's exactly the way that it gets reported on the DFA report. So that was one change that we made. We also identified a couple reconciling errors in the amount of $54.81. Those have been corrected, so that will be cleared up for the next report. Also, let's see. At the last meeting, we did receive the final approved budget from DFA. We will now proceed with closing out the fiscal year and loading our new budget into the accounting software. So that's kind of the final process that we go through after we receive budget approval. It's been pretty busy the last few weeks. The auditors did complete their final week of test work the week of August 31st, and I think everything has gone pretty smoothly, and we're still on track to meet the December 15th deadline. So at this point, they will not be back to do any on-site work that we're aware of. It'll all just be kind of via phone and email at this point. Other than that, on the financial report, we had, I believe last month, I apologize I wasn't at the meeting because I was out of town, there was one question, I believe, by the mayor on the insurance reserve showing a deficit. We're working with the insurance company. The last couple months, there was some billing errors, and so it takes a couple months for some of that to get cleared up and corrected. So I'm hoping that that will go away probably by next month. We did have our insurance open enrollment last month, so the new insurance rates that were approved did go into effect September 1st. And so we're going to start seeing those new rates on our current monthly billing. Other than that, the other negative balances are grants. We did receive the GO bond reimbursement, and then we've also received the July juvenile justice, and the August is pending. So, other than that, is there any questions that anybody has on the financial report? Okay, if there's no questions, I would recommend approval of the budget adjustment resolution 2015-35.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2015-35, August 15th financial report.
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. Trish, do we have a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Giacomo,
Yes.
Commissioner Schuster,
Yes.
Commissioner Chavez,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Segala.
Yes. Thank you, Michael Ann.
Okay, another item.
Item C, deliberate and act on resolution 2015-36, budget adjustment number 1 for fiscal year 16. Michael Ann?
Mayor Pro Tem and Commission, in your packet is budget adjustment number 1. Now that our budget has been approved by DFA, all changes that we make moving forward will require a budget adjustment. So this is the first one. The budget is a living document, and we try to make as few of changes as possible throughout the year. The ones that I've itemized in the general fund just are to move some money around to cover some expenses that we've had for travel and computer equipment and such in the zoning department. The next item was for transfers. We are currently finishing up the downtown master plan. This would be a temporary transfer from the general fund. We do have to provide a canceled check in order to get reimbursement from that program. So we would transfer the funds and then reimburse the general fund once we receive that from the Main Street grant. And then under the street improvement fund, we did have one invoice left to pay on the Tiger Drive Phase 1 project. And so this transfer is to pay the invoice that we had remaining on that project. And I didn't re-budget it because I kind of had overlooked. I just assumed we were done with all of the project. But and then in our capital projects, I really should have taken this out of the final budget, which also is the Tiger Drive Phase 1. We completed all of the project, but for some reason I showed it rebudgeted for the school's portion of their match and the entire amount of the project. So I'm requesting an adjustment to take all of it out except the $2,545 to pay that final invoice, because we do not need that in the budget. And then also I failed to include the water department's capital outlay project for the dam. So you'll see a budget adjustment for that to add the $300,000 that we were awarded in the 2014 capital outlay. And then the final one under debt service is merely just adding a new line item. We have a dedicated fund for the half a cent for the Aquatic Center GRT, and I just needed to correct the line item numbers to reflect Fund 302 instead of 309, because Fund 302 is the dedicated fund for that half-cent GRT. So those are the changes that I'm requesting this evening, and if there's any questions.
No question.
Questions? I'll move that we accept resolution number 2015-36, budget adjustment number 1, FY16.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second to accept resolution 2015-36. Trish, can we have a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Schuster,
Yes.
Commissioner Giacomo,
Yes.
Commissioner Chavez,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Segala.
Yes.
Thank you.
Deliberate and act on resolution 2015-37, NMDOT Aviation Consumables Grant Application. Mr. Berry?
Mayor and Commission, under this resolution, the Commission agrees to apply for a consumables grant to NMDOT Aviation Division in the amount of $10,000, and we're certifying that we have budgeted funds for 10% of the consumables. The consumables grant pays for things at in the operation of an airport, like light bulbs, paper towels, maybe things to control vegetation, those kind of things. So pretty straightforward, something that we have done every year, and it's up for your consideration here currently.
Any questions for Mr. Berry?
No questions.
Make a motion to approve NMDOT aviation application for the 2015-2016 consumable resolution 2015-37.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt resolution 2015-37. All in favor, vote by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Department head report, the municipal courts. Judge Manfredi.
Mayor, Commissioners, I'm here tonight to kind of give you an overview of what's going on in the court, in case you were interested. The one I want to talk about is the citation balance. And you'll see that the court is on $417,445. Now, the reason for that is because there is no way to remove a fine once it is issued. About 5 years ago, we changed computer systems. And so since that time, we have 94,000 in fines owed. But prior to that, going back 20 years, there's 180,000 in fines. And we have people that have actually passed away that still owe us fines, and there's no way to get them off the books. So I would like to ask you all to make some kind of arrangements with the auditors. We don't want to do away with them, but we want to put them in a separate file. We collected a fine from 1997 this month, so we will eventually collect them. But it's a long, drawn-out process. In addition, I wanted to just point out to you what happens to the money that we collect in the court. We get the fine portion, but all of the rest of that leaves Raton. And that's pretty much standard with all courts. We have court costs. Those are not, actually, they're not cost of courts. They're traffic safety fees, control substance fees. We send money to BCMC Hospital in Albuquerque for natal alcohol syndrome, DWI prevention fees. All of those things are collected on every traffic ticket, not on violations of city ordinances. So, in addition, I have the breakdown of the last few years and the number of citations issued by each officer. But I'm going to let the Court Clerk of the Year address you with that. If you have any questions about this.
Any questions for Judge Manfredi?
None at all.
Very good.
Thank you. Mr. Romero?
Okay, I've done a breakdown from 2012 forward to 2015 by the year of what we've actually collected. And if you'll see on the graph, the difference between 2012 and 2013 was a decrease of 28.77%. We had another decrease in 2014 of 17.18%. But so far in 2015, we've had an increase in what we've collected from up to 4.42, and that's only through August. A lot of what we aren't collecting are fines that people haven't paid that are on suspension, have suspended driver's licenses. That's about our only way of really collecting them. Let's see. From the $417,445 that Judge Manfredi was talking about, I broke that down to by the year for 2012, 2013, 14, and 15, and those totals are a lot less than that 417 that's actually outstanding. For 2015, we're through June, we are owed $48,023, and that's just for January through June. And those are only cases that have been heard that people have come in on. He was talking about the police, how many citations we've had, and overall for January through August, the total number of citations was 1,180 that the officers have issued to the municipal court. And I'm open to questions.
Are there any questions for Ms. Romero or Judge Manfredi?
None at this time for me.
Good.
No questions. Thank you for your work.
Thank you.
Absolutely, thank you. Item F, deliberate and act on board appointments.
Mayor Pro Tem and fellow commissioners, we have one application of Steve Marcus of Raton to the Parks and Rec Board. He meets, he's very active in the community, and I would make a motion that we accept Steve Marcus to the Parks and Rec Board, as we really need another board member.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second to accept Mr. Marquez as a member of the Parks and Rec Board. All in favor, vote by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Mr. Marcus is now a member of the Parks and Rec Board. Manager's report.
Mayor Pro Tem and Commission, I did attend a meeting this morning. It included several of staff and several representatives of the commission here with our state senator, Pete Campos. He had traveled to Raton today and also had made stops in Cimarron and Springer. We spent a couple hours talking to Senator Campos. About issues that potentially could come up in the legislature. There is a 30-day session scheduled in January, February for the 16 New Mexico State Legislature. We talked about several of those. Specifically, we talked about Raton's potential for economic development. We talked about some of the things that are issues, challenges with us as far as our infrastructure. We specifically talked about Raton's water system, streets and drainage issues that we have. We talked about some of the effects of regulation on how we can operate and what that does to some of our costs. We looked at some of the facilities around Raton. We also talked about dealing with issues like dilapidated buildings and cleanup of abandoned properties, which is a subject that we spend a lot of time discussing internally here with staff. So we did get to spend a couple hours with Senator Campos. As far as project reports go, we have issued a notice to proceed to Anissa Construction for construction of the multimodal project. They're set to break ground on that project. The contractor now has informed us that they're working on getting their building permits and proper permits in place. We would anticipate seeing them up here sometime within the next week or two, and some construction activities starting up. So that project is scheduled to run currently through February. We'll see how the winter weather is. We are going to have some cold months in there, so it's possible that if that weather affects construction, we could take a winter shutdown and extend that time into spring. Of course, that's a lot of that funding is coming from Federal Highway Administration, so we do have continuous contact with the Federal Highway Administration about the progress on that project. One thing I would point out to the commission is that on a project like that, and the costs are around $700,000 for construction, that is a reimbursement program. So as the contractor turns in requests for payment, which will be on a monthly basis, we will have to pay that and then get reimbursed. So as the city treasurer had pointed out to you on other projects, specifically the MAP, when we upfront that, we will have to do the same kind of transfer and then reimburse that when we get the money from Federal Highway Administration. So that will be coming up on this project, and fairly substantial costs that we'll have to cover up front. On Thursday, we have scheduled an opening of sealed bids for the construction of 3 projects. As Mayor Pro Tem Sagata had stated, one of those is the senior center work, specifically on a section of bad roof that they have. We'll also be opening bids for the repaving of First Street and also the repaving of 3 blocks of Pecos and Galisteo. And it's our goal to have that work completed during October. So we'll see some construction work taken off. I would like the commission to consider scheduling, and if you don't have any objections, the staff will do this, a special meeting for Tuesday, September 29th at 6 p.m. to consider bids on those 3 projects. So I will issue an agenda and notification of that special meeting for Tuesday the 29th at 6, unless we have any objections from the commission. And I would point out that we would expect Mayor Pro Tem Sagata will be out of town. I think we'll be without the services of Mayor Mance for a couple of meetings, and so we'll have the 3 remaining commissioners. You amongst yourselves will need to appoint a chairman, a commissioner to appoint to chair that meeting. Excuse me. I did hand the commission an agenda. This is for the New Mexico State Legislature Economic and Rural Development Committee. They're scheduled to meet in Raton Monday and Tuesday, September 28th and 29th. That meeting will be conducted at the Shooter Theater, and I would encourage anyone from the commission and also from the general public to try to attend this important legislative committee meeting in Raton if you get a chance. They will be talking about economic development, specifically in rural areas. That is central to what we've talked about in my year here. And it's rare when we get a legislative committee to travel to Raton and meet. I think we definitely want to attend and let them know the challenges that we have in rural areas as far as economic development. It's a tough world out there for economic development, and I think we really need to take this chance to discuss that while we have legislators in Raton. So that will commence on Monday morning and run through Tuesday. And you do have the agenda there in front of you. And that's all I have, Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you. Are there any other comments or questions for Mr. Berry? Any comments for the public? Seeing no request, I hereby adjourn this meeting. Thank you.